My cord, that's all.
Okay, because I know I used a little bit more extra time than I needed to, but hey, you know how it goes with us. But Washington Commanders, brand new owners and everything like that. Okay, and I love the Magic Man. That's like my big cousin right there. I love Magic. He like an uncle, cousin, something to me. But at the end of the day, I just want to school y'all real quick. Magic is not the owner of the Washington Commanders, okay? He's a part of the group, but he's not the owner. So don't run on the Twitter telling Magic what he needs to fix and what he needs to do with this, that, because there's somebody that he answers to as well, too. The guy who actually owns the team is Ryan Burton or something like that. But as long as they didn't give the team to Jeff Bezos, I think that Daniel Snyder is really, really, really happy. Because Jeff Bezos was ready to just destroy whatever tradition the Washington Commanders had. You know what I mean? With a bunch of just wokeness. You know what I mean? We felt it coming to it. It was like, whoo, we dodged the bullet there. Because he was coming with so many unneeded people too. Like, does that person even watch football? Like, we're just trying to bring in people so we can just be piss people off. Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I mean? America, we got to do better. But let's talk about it. Quarterback situation. Sam Howell. Sam Howell is seen as the quarterback of now. The quarterback of the future, we'll see. But I don't think that they even thinking that he's the quarterback of the future. I think that they're saying quarterback of now. They knew that they were about to sell the team, so they didn't go crazy on getting a big dollar quarterback, big dollar situation in the draft. They could have easily moved up, got CJ Stroud, because literally almost, let's keep it real. The Texans were damn near forced to go get him, you know. And I know everybody's like, what do you mean? I was at the draft, dude. Like, literally, they only wanted to get the defense. They only wanted to get the kid from Alabama. They were always going to draft the kid from Alabama. But they made that deal happen. So that's how they got CJ. You know what I mean? Because, you know, at the end of the day, they were willing to go ahead and do another year with just whatever with the guy that they got now from Stanford, or they were willing to take somebody later on in the draft. You know what I mean? They weren't so sold on CJ Stroud, and we know that everything is all said and done now, but they weren't that sold on him. You know what I mean? And pretty much people can sit up there and they can say he's so ready, he's so this, so that, but none of them are ready. It doesn't matter. Peyton Manning wasn't ready when he came to the NFL. Philip Rivers was able to have a good situation, him and Ben Roethlisberger, but they weren't that ready either. But they were just able to manage very well. That's why they were able to keep their jobs. But that's goes back to what I'm talking about. Sam Howell is a great game manager. Sam Howell is going to play at least 60 to 70% of the games this year as their quarterback. I think, if anything, if he goes out as the quarterback, it's because he's going to get hurt. And I think Washington has told themselves, we don't have high expectations this year. All right. They were trying to get rid of everybody who was a high dollar player. Everybody. They brought back Sweat, but they wanted to get rid of Chase Young. Chase Young was a highly coveted pass rusher coming out of college, and he was seen as a phenomenal player coming to Washington. And he did some phenomenal things before blowing his knee up. And they got his medical report, so that's why they're kind of like, we might not, we really can't have this guy anymore. But I still think that he's a very serviceable player, and I think that he's going to be very good for him this year because he got some motivation. They're saying that he's washed and he's hasn't even been in the league that long. But when I look at this situation with Washington, Washington just doesn't give me anything to get excited about, Jeff. The only thing that I can say for them for this division, to be honest with you, they have the best coach. Ron Rivera is the best coach in the division, straight up, because he can take a little bit of nothing and he can still win 7, 8 games with that group. You know what I mean? We saw what he did in Carolina, and we saw what he's done in Washington. So when you look at a coach like Ron Rivera and the way that he can get teams to rally around him, Washington's going to always have a chance. And them having 6.5 up here, I think that's an absolute slam dunk to go over. Yeah, they might finish last place, but they're gonna be in the playoff picture too. The NFC's wide open, Jeff. Let's keep it real. Everybody's gonna have some say in the NFC until about week 11. All right, so Washington is not a playoff team this year, but they're a spoiler. They're a team that can cover. They're a money team, as I like to say. Money teams don't have to win or lose. They don't have to win to make you money. And I feel like Washington's going to be one of those teams that they're going to make 8.5-point dogs, 9.5-point dogs, and then they only lose by 3. Every game is close, or they wind up getting a win for you. So Washington is not to be slept on, but that 10-1 is there for a reason. And I wouldn't, and no, this ain't no, I put a little bit of, no, I ain't putting a little bit of nothing on it, but I will put something on that over 6.5, though. I think that's a what? Minus 120. So I think that'll work. Your thoughts?
Rumblings in camp, Eric Bieniemy kind of cracking the whip. Ron has been very polite on some of the rumblings from some of the players. So Eric trying to make his stamp already. Offensively, Sam Howell, you talked about Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson in the backfield. Terry McLaurin, love the kid. Jahan Dotson, that's a name to keep out for Penn State. Expect big things from him. Curtis Samuel, sneaky there. A defense that you talked about where they were trying to move Chase Young and didn't get the right price. They might still move him. Who knows there? Tough division. I think they're moving in the right direction. Let's get back to the Redskins name there. The 6.5, I think, is spot on. Could they be 7-9? Could they be, last year they were 8-1. I don't know how far Sam Howell will take them. Keep an eye on Jacoby Brissett as well, as they're leaving him there. There could be a middle of the season trade if someone needs a quarterback there and Sam's doing well. They could have a bad year and be in the quarterback sweepstakes next year. So it'll be interesting. I think they'll be competitive. I agree with you. I think they'll be undervalued in a lot of spots. They're overvalued week 1. I think 6.5-point favorites against Arizona, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, which they're being overpriced. Is that right? Hold on. I want to make sure of that. I don't want to say something here and I'm wrong. Give me 1 second, Pops, because that number stood out to me like it seemed a little high. Commanders, 6-point favorites against Arizona opening day. They'll be Washington will be on a lot of people's suicide pools to start the first week of the tournament. Anyone in the Circa Westgate or anything like that as well. So keep an eye. I think offensively they'll be okay. Don't forget, Bieniemy loved the dump into the backs. Antonio Gibson, for all the fantasy guys, could have some fun this year. I like Dotson. Obviously, I like Terry. Samuel, sneaky. Moving in the right direction. Won't be division champs. That 10-1 is there for a reason. Keep them on spoiler alert, Pops. That's how I'll finish that. How's that?
All right. And I like that. And, pretty much we got to respect where they're coming from because they're going to be playing in a tough division. That division is going to be really, really tough at the end of the day. And they're going to give teams fits. And they're going to get one of those wins that nobody sees coming when somebody comes to DC thinking that, they've lost 4 in a row, so we'll tear up the Commanders today. No. You wind up losing the game by 17 points. So, be ready for that. And you just said it too, Jeff. Don't fall for the hook. Don't fall for that Arizona Washington madness because you guys already know every game in DC goes to the wire opening weekend. Every single one, every single time. So, I wouldn't. That's one of those ones where probably is going to be going on Pop's dog pick 4 week 1. You know what I mean? Jeff over here already throwing me winners because I did it. It wasn't last year, but it was a few years ago with the Titans. Not Titans, the Texans. Nobody was giving the Texans a shot at all. They went in there and they beat who was it the opening day? It was the Jaguars, I think, opening day, and they were a big dog too that day, like 3.5. But I had them at like plus 165. So, having fun, that's how it goes. But all in all, though, that's going to be it for today's show. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about the North next week. Yeah, it's the North. We'll be talking AFC, NFC North next week. That should be a lot of fun. And we'll be back. So, Jeff, where can they catch you at?
On Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it today at EC Sports Invest. You can go to our website at eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. If you need to send me an email, you can send it to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. All the other social medias, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the TikToks at East Coast Sports Investors.
And there it is. There it is. So, Jeff, one of the best to do this, and pretty much you're in good hands when you're dealing with the NFL Bet Exchange. So just know that, and that, pretty much if you like to win, you'll be tuning in. It's that simple, So, but if you want to just keep losing and, being pissed off every Sunday, just watch ESPN or FS1 or one of the people, Colin Cowherd,
The Blazing Five.
Yeah, the Blazing Five. Keep following the Blazing Five and see how far that's going to get you. All right. So with that, thank you so much. This is the NFL Bet Exchange, and I'm your host, Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson, and we are gone.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFL Bet Exchange, where the sharpest bets are laid. This show was produced by the Prime Wave Media Group.